All right, your money sign editing, chapter 2, segment 9. Okay, you have an idea of what you want to build. Awesome. So let's talk numbers finally. I'll warn you, I'm going to push you. Take out a piece of paper, yes, an actual piece of mulched tree. Imagine that perfect life you want and list out every category you can think of. Start with housing costs, transportation costs, food costs. These are the basics. Now add secondary costs, such as a monthly clothing allowance, pet costs, kid costs, date night costs, eating out costs, and holiday costs. Then list out your holiday costs. If you want to sew, then include the cost of buttons, zippers, machine repairs. If you want to do archery, then include the cost of targets, arrows, and bow repairs. We are trying to stretch you to your limit, or as I call it, your ceiling. When I walk someone through this for the first time, I number to 100 and tell them to come back to me only once they have 100 different categories of expenses with a possible dollar amount written next to them. Some people rack their brain after only 15 lines. Some could come back with another full page over 100. I like those people. They're the ones thinking. I like it when you think. If you truly want to get the most from this exercise, then aim for a minimum of 100 monthly categories. Remember, we're talking categories. I'm not telling you that you have to say shoes, pants, hats. No. That's all under clothes. I really want to push my clients when they do this exercise to fully embrace. Okay, I'm not coaching. I'm just reading. Sorry, we're just editing. Okay. If you truly want to get the most from this exercise, then aim for a minimum of 100 monthly categories. It's okay if this triggers you. It's a good time to pause and explore what's coming up for you. Some people feel guilty for having so many monetary desires. That's a trigger that I work on with my clients. Others have gotten angry because the life they want seems just too far away and impossible. I really believe that my job as a coach is to get people to be triggered. Because if all we ever do is be like, it's like teaching somebody how to sail. If all you ever do is you stay really close to the shore and it's all good, calm weather, okay, you'll learn how to sail. But if you never go out in choppy weather, if you never sit through a storm, hopefully not on the boat. Oh no, did that break? Oh no, it didn't. Okay, anyway. I don't know how to sail. That is kind of on my to-do list. I would like to learn how to sail, but I don't like the ocean, so that's going to be a trick. Probably just... Anyway, we are off topic. Hyper day. Some people feel guilty for having so many monetary desires. Others have gotten angry because the life they want seems just too far away and impossible. Take note of how you feel while doing this. If you think it best to step away for a few days to process, that's cool too. That's another thing. I don't charge people by the hour. I have people pay for a session, which is actually a month worth of access to me. Sometimes we call and they get pushed within the first couple of minutes that we're talking. And I say, good, you're triggered. We're going to stop. And I give them 2 or 3 little assignments to do. And I say, call me back when you've processed it. I don't know how long it takes to process. Sometimes people come back later that afternoon. Other times people have taken a couple of months to get back to me. This is something that I think why a lot of people don't talk about it is because genuine internal dialogue, genuine internal change, especially if you've never done it before, isn't in a timeline. Like you don't know. There have been times where I have read something and that just felt a little bit of resistance, so I stopped. And every time I tried to come back, I couldn't. And it took 2 years before it finally broke. And I realized, and I had this huge flood and I got so many emotions and I had to work through them and deal with them. It's okay. And I do these things not to have you give an immediate answer, but to have you really internalize and look inside of yourself. When you're looking at your ceiling, you are truly looking at yourself. You are truly looking at your desires. And for most of us, especially if we've had controlling people anywhere in our life, which is 100% of us, then you're gonna come across something where you know you want it, but you know somebody somewhere either told you or gave you the nonverbals that you're not supposed to have it. That's not okay for you to want something. And that's what we're really pushing with for this ceiling. Take note of how you feel while doing this. If you think it best to step away for a few days to process, that's cool. This is your life, and you're the leading expert on you now. Once you have decided your monthly amount from the list of 100, I want you to double it. I warned you I was going to push you. I'm aware that most money budgets get you to think small. Deny yourself that expensive coffee, or don't buy that high-interest truck you admire. If you want to live less than you desire, then there are plenty of other books out there for that. With your money sign, the entire point is to live the life you love, the life you want. So that doubled number is your ceiling. I might need to clarify, and I'm going to try, because as I was reading, I was like, okay, I'm not asking you to do 200. I'm asking you, let's just say you ran the numbers and your ceiling number is 10,000 a month. Well, now what I'm saying is you did the 100 exercise and it came to 10,000. Now what I'm saying is instead of 10,000, now make it 20,000. That's your ceiling, 20,000. Congrats. That number isn't a billion or even a million. That ceiling is attainable, and it is attainable by you. Maybe not this year or even this decade, but knowing what you're building and where your ceiling is will allow you to use your money sign to get there. Take your ceiling and divide it by 25. So in what I had just rattled off, let's just say it was 10,000, then you said 20,000. So now what we're going to do is we're going to take a calculator. That would be calendar. Let's try something different. Calculator. Okay, and if we did $20,000 for your monthly whatever, and you divide it by 25, that's 800. Okay, so if you worked 5 days a week, that's what you need to make per day. Is that less than what you're making right now? For most people, it's more. Don't get harsh with yourself. You'll get there. Be patient. You have to set your destination before you can start your journey, and that's what you just did. A quote from the Maverick Mindset comes to mind. I don't know if I can do it, but you know what? I'm gonna find out. Your ceiling is a guide. I'm going to put this in here, book, Maverick Mindset. Your ceiling is a guide, that's all, and it may change over time. Once the kids move out, the ceiling will lower. Move to a city with higher taxes, and the city ceiling will rise. I'm going to put your ceiling, your ceiling. Remember, your money sign is flexible as long as once you put money into an account, you only use that money for that specific purpose. Spend, invest, give, or net worth. So find your ceiling. Write that number in various places. You'll see it every day. It isn't scary or evil or selfish. It's attainable. So switch to your explore state of mind and have fun with it. You are worth living the life that will fulfill you and bring a healthier you to the world. Okay, that's segment 9. Segment 10. Here is where I have so much fun with people. We have an idea of the life you're building. We now know your ceiling and what you would need to make a day. Call that your daily ceiling. Now we can get creative with thought experiments. Imagine having a client pay you your daily ceiling. For most people, they immediately reject the idea. That $20,000 example, that was $800 a day. Whatever you do, whether it's flip burgers, clean houses, teach fitness, whatever it is that you do, could you imagine that you have one client that pays you that $800? Can you imagine that, or are you going to reject it? Most people reject it. They want to be a good person by charging the bare minimum. Or, since they have such critical clients, they assume no one in their right mind would pay such a price. Imagine mowing a lawn and you say, okay, well, this lawn, it's going to be $800. And someone just says, okay. Can you imagine that? If people pay millions of dollars for painted lines on a canvas, let us all just assume that there is no such thing as a right-minded person. Just people who pay and people who don't. Let's really stretch you here. Imagine a single day of work gets you paid your entire monthly ceiling. A keynote speaker can do it. Why not you? There are keynote speakers that get paid, for our example, the $20,000 for a single speech. There are people such as Donald Trump who, you offer him $20,000 for a 40-minute speech, he's going to turn you down. There's no way. What was the example that he used in one of his books? Well, it wasn't him. It was one of the people who hired him. And he was wanting to do it for free. Or like he didn't have the people yet. And then Donald Trump was like, nothing less than this amount. I don't remember what it was, but it was astronomically high in the author's viewpoint. And then Donald Trump said, look, this is my fee. This is how many people you'd have to sell at this price point to get my fee. Just pre-sell the tickets. The guy did. They were able to pay him. They were able to have extras, and they were able to make it a regular thing. It expanded his thinking. And that's what I'm trying to do for you here, is to expand your thinking for your daily ceiling. I need you to prioritize your ceiling and disregard your insecurities, fears, or past habits. You're no longer one of the zombies. You're living now. You know what you want to build, and now you know what number is required for that life. Use your brain. Put some thought into it. And remember to use the 1% effort rule. Push your thinking a bit, even if it's ridiculous. A young athlete making more for a single season than a dedicated teacher makes in their entire career is ridiculous. This world doesn't care, so stop creating excuses. Eliminate the self-inflicted limitations and let your imagination expand into abundance of thought. Now, if you're thinking, mind play is all fun and games, but it'll never work in the real world, first, you're my kind of people. Second, stay with me and let the others have a chance to catch up. Some people really haven't done conscious, intentional thought experiments before, so it's important to develop this. It doesn't cost any money to attain the skill. You can do this sitting in the city bus or at a desk or even at night when you're lying down. Imagine living a life where you have your hobbies, you make your ceiling, and it is attainable to you. It is said that a mind expanded can never retreat back to its original conformity. We are reshaping your mind, literally creating new neural pathways for information to follow in the future. This is seriously difficult work. Don't be fooled. I have people who are like, oh, well, you're just daydreaming. Yeah, but that just daydreaming is actually putting in new skills, putting in new possibilities, overcoming past woundings. This is a lot of work that nobody has ever shown us how to do. Most people want us unconscious because then you're easier to manipulate that way. You may discover great emotions, feel exhausted, or even physically beat up sometimes. It's amazing the number of clients that came to me that were like, I had no idea. I had a memory of a past situation. It brought up all this strong emotion, sometimes anger, sometimes sadness, sometimes overwhelming joy. And then they're like, God, I just felt completely drained for like 3 days. All I could do was sleep. That's your body repairing and building those new neural pathways. It's okay. It's healthy. It's needed. In fact, that's what I'm trying for you. These are just growing pains. You survived your teenage years, you know growing pains don't last forever. So what is your ceiling? Can you say it without looking? What is your daily ceiling? Can you recall off the top of your head? Again, before you can start your journey, you must choose the destination. All this is important work, vital if you're serious about taking control of your finances and building a life you're obsessed with enjoying. Get creative, play with the numbers. Do you want to work 4 days a week? What is your daily ceiling then? I keep saying this. You know what? This chapter is going to be called Daily Ceiling. Daily Ceiling. I don't know why that aloe vera drink is like making me hiccup. Your ceiling. Daily Ceiling. What is your daily ceiling then? In a thought experiment, you have total control, so take it. Stop acting less. Learn to envision what an abundant, healthy, balanced life would be like for you on a daily basis. Pay attention to the emotions, memories, and beliefs that come up for you as you do this process. Your ceiling is attainable. It's just a matter of creating different ways to get there. If you followed all of the steps so far, then you should have found some of your money triggers. Really put serious thought into the life you want to build and found your ceiling. That's a ton of progress. Oh, I'm so happy when people get it. Like, and when they start getting it, it's like, it's one of those, like, back when they did, like, the 3D pictures or whatever, and I'd see people get so frustrated, but then as soon as they finally kind of to change their vision, the way they looked at it, and kind of got it and saw whatever that 3D image was, you could just see it in their whole being, like, oh, hey! And then even when they looked, if they didn't know it right away, they remembered what it was, and they changed their eyesight, and they'd see it again. That's what I want for you. You have a vision for yourself. You really do. Everyone does. But so many people have put limitations and blockades in front of you in the way that you work and in the way that you think and the way that you behave, that you no longer see what it is, but your brain already knows it. Your brain sees it. You have to change your vision so that you can see it too. It's just so important. Like, oh, I make so much progress with my clients if we can get this stuff done first. Because talking numbers all day long does fuck all if you're miserable with your life financially. It really is. Okay, we're just editing the book, woman. Come on, calm down. Okay. Your ceiling is attainable. It's just a matter of creating different ways to get there. If you followed all the steps so far, then you should have found some of your money triggers. Really put serious thought into the life you want to build and found your ceiling. That's a ton of progress. Ask any builder, and they will tell you that without accurate blueprints and a solid foundation, they can't build. All this preparation is worth it. It really is. If you can just do the preparation, oh my goodness, it is amazing. So amazing. Okay. Chapter 2, segment 11. While doing the ceiling exercise, what money triggers came up? What numbers made you uncomfortable? Which thought experiments made you think, that's impossible? This is a crucial step because those little impulses of emotional resistance are what's really running the show. Remember, the human brain doesn't like pain, so it will rationalize any behavior to avoid it. A house cleaner will rationalize not having enough income to provide for her kids by convincing herself she's doing a greater good by not charging her clients more. A lawn care owner will rationalize verbal abuse and constant late payments from a client by convincing himself he owes it to the client since they were one of the first people to give him a try years ago. An overworked laborer will rationalize getting drunk every weekend by convincing themselves that they deserve to enjoy life. You're an intelligent and cunning person. Yes, you. And if you even doubted yourself or something in your brain said, oh, I'm not sure, that's a money trigger. You are competent, you are capable, you are cunning. Okay? You're here. Trust me. You're advanced. You're an intelligent and cunning person. When you want something, you always find a way. It's like yelling at a child for lying. The child will still lie. They'll just adapt new ways of lying to you so that they don't get yelled at again. If you want to stop rationalizing money habits that are hurting the life you want to build, then it is vital that you start learning to pay attention to your money triggers. They're usually very subtle and elusive, especially in the beginning. Like the child avoiding punishment, they will hide to the best of their ability. Now, if you had parents who believed in yelling, beating, starving, isolating, shaming, or rejecting you when you displayed behaviors they didn't like, then you're going to have an extra difficult time in the beginning. First, you must learn to have compassion and empathy for yourself, since your parents never showed you healthy ways to change behavior patterns. Ooh, I should put that in there. Healthy ways to change behavior patterns. I highly suggest you recruit a competent therapist, coach, or mentor, but be aware, there are plenty of experts who have no idea how to positively change behaviors, so screen them beforehand, okay? Second, if you have painful memories, then you must acknowledge and purge them. For some, it's anger, and others, it's weeks of functional depression. This is a healing process and needs to be done. For those of you who are right now calling me a snowflake or a weakling, fuck you and your cowardice. I totally get that it feels better to hide behind self-righteous indignation than to face the pain, but it's still no excuse for you stopping others from healing. It takes strength to admit vulnerability and one hell of an inner fortitude to face abuse. This strength and fortitude will serve you well as you start to adapt new money habits. So be on the lookout for your money triggers. I think that's what I'm going to call this. Heal money triggers. Heal your money triggers. Because that's basically what I'm saying in this one. So heal your money triggers. Segment 11. Heal your money triggers. That strength and fortitude will serve you well as you start to adapt new money habits. So be on the lookout for your money triggers. It's amazing when I get a small group together and start having them share their money triggers. Most times, after a few rounds of people sharing their money triggers, someone will respond, "Oh, I get that feeling too. I didn't know what it was, but as you explain it, it makes sense." It is, and I know it seems like I'm contradicting myself of like, don't share it with people, but go out and get help. All I'm saying is that if you're a mythos and you're surrounding yourself with zombies, you're not gonna get good help. To think that your emotions don't affect your money habits is just stupidity in this day and age. You're no longer one of the zombies. You know that your emotional resistance, combined with your cunning and your desire to avoid pain, are enough to sabotage your best intentions. Ooh, I love that sentence. I'm awesome. You can make the most impressive spreadsheet and give the best sales pitch ever. But if you still make decisions emotionally, then you'll never succeed in a sustainable way. So take this step seriously. Find people you can talk about emotions with. Ignore the zombies who apply with brainless sayings like, "Toughen up, get over it already, that's stupid." Remember, zombies avoid pain at all costs, but not you, not anymore. You now know that uncomfortable emotions are vital life lessons, and you are strong enough to see them through. Find your ceiling and explore your, I'm not going to say explore, I'm going to say heal. Heal your money triggers. I love that. We're awesome. Everything is awesome. Alright, so 12 is another story, and I know I'm over the 20 minutes, but, we had more to say on this one, so. The girls were lounging in the grand front room of Izzy's impressive house, sipping on wine and snacking on fruit. "This house is huge. You live here by yourself?" gawked Sally. Izzy was fiddling with her hair and some foam curling balls. "Well, sometimes I entertain a man, or two," she winked. They all laughed. "But, how? Do you come from money?" questioned Susan. Izzy laughed so hard one of the curls fell out of her hair. "Oh, goodness, no. My parents were both as poor as you could get. They never owned a house. We had to live with relatives my entire life, and I hated it. I always shared a bed with my mom or a cousin, or one place I had to share the floor with their dogs." She lovingly recurled her hair, then continued. "Once I was old enough to work, that's all I did. Broke my parents' heart that I never went to college. They still bring it up, even after I bought them their own house, and I am a successful novelist." She shook her head sadly. "Well, you could go back to college now to make them happy," said Samantha. Izzy shot her an angry look. "Absolutely not. They could try being happy for me for once in their life." Okay, let's calm down." Stephanie was holding her arms out in an attempt to keep the peace. "Well, I say screw them," chimed Susan. "Look at this gorgeous house, look at your success, and look at how independent you are. I'm totally jealous." Izzy smiled. "How'd you do it?" inquired Stephanie. "Like I said, I worked multiple jobs for years until I had enough money to buy a duplex. I lived in one side with my parents and rented the other side to one of my bosses, actually." Izzy laughed amusingly. "I kept working until I could buy a second duplex. Rented both of those units out. Then my banker told me about a 6-unit building and said she could help me get it if I leveraged the 2 properties I already had. I got it and made enough profit that I quit all of my jobs. Izzy was beaming. What's leveraged mean? Asked Samantha. It means the bank owns her houses even though her name is on the title, explained Sally. She's in debt and all this lavishness is on borrowed time. Oh, please. Everything is debt, so why not use it to my advantage? I don't have to work, and that's worth being in debt that someone else pays, Izzy defended. So what made you start writing then? Inquired Stephanie. Well, not working gave me time to start dating because my parents wanted me to find a husband. So I started going to singles events and asking people to set me up. Izzy was swirling her wine glass. Ooh, that sounds like fun, explained Susan. Izzy stopped moving her glass. You'd be wrong. It was boring. It was the same boring dinner and a movie and always asking if I wanted kids and how well I can cook and clean. I hated it. All the women nodded in a communal understanding. I couldn't tell my parents, so instead I started journaling about how I wished the date would go. At one singles event, I was so bored that I literally pulled out a journal and started writing, Izzy exclaimed. No, you didn't. Susan almost dropped her glass. Oh, yes. Mid-sentence and everything. One of the other ladies there asked me what I was writing, so I told her. She loved it. Turns out her aunt is a publisher, so the three of us met for drinks, and she signed me that night. Izzy was practically dancing. Wow, Susan was impressed. Yep. Work hard, invest intelligently, and you can attain freedom. I did. Izzy toasted the room and finished her glass. Hey, want to hear about my next book? How about The Girls at Izzy's House? Or no. Yeah, The Girls at Izzy's House. The Girls at Izzy's House. I'm going to say The Girls Relax at Izzy's House. There we go. That sounds better. The Girls Relax at Izzy's House. Okay, here. Girls. And we are over the 20 minutes, so, and we did the 4 segments, so we're done with segment 12. Yeah, I didn't find anything wrong with that one, so, yep. We're going to stop it and render it, and I'm going to go do some shit while we do it. Peace, people.